People have been asking me why I personally am against gay marriage, and I guess I'll tell you because, I'm sick of people asking, so. Reason number one is it's just not natural, and if you're a real American, it means that you reject everything unnatural, like glasses, polyester, air conditioning. Number two, if we let people get married that are gay, don't you think it'll, encourage other people to be gay? Because, when I hang out with tall people, I turn taller. Number three, legalizing gay marriage would kind of open the door to anybody and anything getting married. Like, if somebody wanted to get married to their dog, because a dog has the same, legal standing and can even sign a binding contract, so I can see the resemblance. Reason number four is kind of big. We haven't changed straight marriage at all before, so why start changing it now? Women are still property, blacks and whites can't get married, and, divorce is still illegal, so what's making us change it? Reason number five kind of hits close to home, because, straight marriage would become less meaningful if we let gays get married. Because if you think about it, the sanctity of Britney Spears' 55-hour wedding, that would kind of lose its validity. Reason number six is that straight marriages are more valid, because they can procreate, they can make children. That's the main reason to get married, isn't it? To, have a family and
why do you believe some gay people prefer not to ever come out?
The biggest thing is just the fear of discrimination, the fear of stigma. There are plenty of news stories that show that people that are in the LGBTQ community are victims of discrimination, of violence. We are at risk for higher rates of violence to be acted on us. And it's just that, in so many states, you can still be fired for being gay. You don't, up until very recently, you couldn't even marry the person that you loved, right. Something that's very simple and basic and doesn't hurt anybody else. And there's just all these things working against us on a systematic level, and then there's also the attitudes of the people around us, the coworkers, the family members, the community members that, you don't want to risk losing that support system in that community that you have had your entire life, right. Based on just being who you are.
Okay, so that kind of moves into my next question. What was the biggest form of hatred that you've experienced, or any one of the people you work with experienced for coming out or just being?
So this was actually in my previous position. I used to be a general manager at a coffee shop, so had nothing to do with mental health or the LGBTQ community, just general retail food service. But I had an employee who was a trans individual, and he was still pretty young. He had just graduated high school. He was transitioning from female to male, and when he came out to his parents, they kicked him out of the house. It was pretty much either pretend that that's not actually who you are, or you're not our child anymore. And it was really heartbreaking. Because he was 18, he was working a minimum wage job, he didn't have any savings because he was only 18. Right. And so he ended up actually living on the streets for a bit until he was able to get connected with the Bridge for Runaway Youth, they were able to help him get out of homelessness, but that was probably the closest instance of discrimination that I've been near.
Yeah. That's upsetting. You gotta kind of hide who you are, and that's just not fair at all.
Yeah, it was really hard to witness. A lot of us on our team, really tried to help him in the ways that we could.
Right.
But there's only so much that we were able to do.
That's right. What do your organization offer to people that are a part of the LGBTQ community?
What do we offer to the?
Yeah.
Okay. So the main thing that we offer, because we're a mental health organization first, one of the three things that we really do are host support groups. And our support groups are open to anybody. All of our support groups are also very open to, or we would prefer all of our support groups to be open to the LGBTQ community, but we also understand that there are specific fears and just general hesitations when you both live with a mental illness and are a member of the LGBT community, because there's that double stigma going on. So we have support groups that are just for people within the LGBTQ community.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned before that you really haven't went through discrimination too bad, but have you ever suffered from any negative acts due to your affiliation with the LGBT community, as you working here, or?
In terms of working here, no.
Mm.
I mean, our organization as a front is very pro and supportive of the LGBTQ community. Our office itself, we have multiple staff members from that community. So I haven't experienced discrimination working with NAMI, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
When I worked in my last job, like previous positions I've had, I've been fortunate enough to come from a family that's very supportive of my identity and has always been very supportive, but I definitely, and because of other positions of privilege that I do hold, especially, as an able-bodied person, as a white person, I haven't ever experienced, outright violence or discrimination, but I definitely have experienced a lot of the, okay, that's fine that you're queer, but don't talk about it kind of thing, where nobody's going to outright say, well, we don't think that that's okay, but they don't want to hear you talk about it at all.
Okay.
Think about members of my own staff who are in incredibly committed monogamous relationships, same-sex relationships, who are raising kids together. When I think about those soldiers or airmen or Marines or sailors who are out there fighting on my behalf and yet feel constrained, even now that Don't Ask, Don't Tell is gone, because they're not able to commit themselves in a marriage. At a certain point, I've just concluded that for me personally, it is important for me to go ahead and affirm that I think same-sex couples should be able to get married.
For once in my life, it's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right. As I turn up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. I see the kids in the street, but not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need? I saw us disregard a broken bottle top and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the window, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself, then make a change.
Go.
What we can do to make the LGBT community feel more included in our community is to break down those gender role stereotypes and just accept people for who they are, and we don't necessarily have to judge people by what they prefer.
Also going forth with that, building more safe spaces for them, not only in schools but in the community, and considering the trauma that LGBTQ people have probably faced.